David said, I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. If I don't say anything else, that's a mouthful right there. I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. These are the words of David. And I'm wondering this morning, is there such a joy? Is there a gladness? Is there a hope of inspiration? Is there something that is jubilating? Something that is vibrating on the inside of you when you think that it is now time to go into the house of the Lord? I come to tell you, brothers and sisters, there is no other place on the planet that is more exciting and more thrilling and more enjoyable than that in being in the house of the Lord. And may I say to you that when I say nothing more exciting, nothing more enjoyable, nothing more thrilling to be in the house of the Lord, has nothing to do with whether the choir sing or how well they sing. Has nothing to do with the ushers serving or giving you certain things or taking care or attending to your individual needs. Has nothing to do with that. It even has nothing to do with me standing here expostulating to you this morning the word of the Lord. Now, all of those things are encouraging. All of those things are wonderful. And we come with a kind of hope that these things will be a part of the worship, and that through these things and these rudiments for which we follow in worship, something is going to happen. Something is going to take my life and my worship to another level. But greater than all of the other experiences that we have in worship, the thing that makes it thrilling, the thing that makes it enjoyable, the thing that makes it delightful, the thing that makes it so wonderful, the thing that makes it worthy of my time is that I get to spend time with God. Amen. That's it. And I want you to know that, brothers and sisters, so that you don't come to church with a false sense of thinking that it is other people's responsibilities and jobs and certain things that they do in the worship that is supposed to bring you the joy and the excitement. Your joy and your excitement, your thrill of the day is found in your relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. And if you don't have Jesus in your heart, if you don't know him as the Lord of your life, I don't care what song they sing. I don't care how well they sing it. I don't care how well they serve. I don't care how well I preach and how excellent all of the expostulation is. If Christ is not in your heart, you come empty. You're going to leave empty. You come with nothing, you're going to leave with nothing. Because our exciting thrill is in the Lord Jesus Christ. And David knew that. That's why he said, I was glad when they said unto me, good God from Zion, let's go into the house of the Lord. The idea that David says, let's go, it's not just him coming along. But perhaps while coming to the temple, the great Shema, going to the temple in Jerusalem, perhaps he brought along with him some others. Perhaps he brought along with him his wives, his family, or his children, or he made invitations and celebrated and brought others to the light of understanding that it is important for us to engage in the worship of God. And so he says, let us, so that worship is not just a single experience. Worship is an us experience. Though I can worship God all by myself, and I can delight in him all by myself, and I can get blessed by him all by myself, there is a thrill that I feel when I see others worship him too. It heightens my worship. It takes my worship to another level when I see not just myself, but when I see a congregation of people such as yourself excited about the worship of God. More than just excited about the worship, but people who live out Christ. Now, let me give you some few things that I think that you need to know in terms of the worship. Whenever we come to worship, whenever we come, whether it's on a Wednesday night, whether it's Sunday school, whether it's Sunday morning, whenever we are coming, it is opportunity for Christ to be formed in our hearts. Amen. Christ is always being formed in your heart. You're always being made better than what you are. And you can never reach the zenith of your perfection, who you are. It takes a lifetime. And even when your life is over and it has expired, you're still not what Christ wants you to be, but you're much better than when you first started. And so we're on a path. And it's important for us to be here. And it's important for us to worship. It is important for us to come together. David said, let us go into the house of the Lord, because Christ is being formed in our hearts. And you see, throughout the week, when we're going through whatever it is that we go through throughout the week, you know, the enemy is always lurking. The enemy is always trying to cast doubt. The enemy is always trying to cause us to fall and waver in our walk, in our relationship with God. And so many things happen throughout the week. And because things happen, it's more so important that when Sunday comes, we're prepared to come so that Christ again can be formed in my heart. When I say formed in my heart, that is, I have opportunity for Christ to work on me and work specifically in the areas of my weaknesses, not just in my strength, but in my weaknesses. He makes me better. So that the week that I'm getting ready to go into, starting tomorrow, will be much richer, much better, much brighter than last week. Not to say that last week wasn't a good week. Oh, last week was a wonderful week for me. I enjoyed last week. I lived, I breathed the air, I saw the trees, I saw the wind, I saw nature, I saw things happening in the world. People said, hello, Pastor, bye-bye, Pastor. People said, I love you. People called me, text me, page me. Last week was a wonderful week, but all this week to come.
That's good.
The scripture said it this way: eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither has it entered into the heart of the man the wonderful thing that God has installed for me. So though last week was a good week, I expect even greater things in this week to come. You see, when we come to worship on Sunday, it sets for us a glorious path for Monday. So I don't understand people who claim that Monday is Blue Monday when you just come from Sunshine Sunday. Oh, let me say that one more time. I don't understand you having Blue Mondays when you just had a Sunshine Sunday. It seems to me that if the sun is shining and has been shining in your life on Sunday, some of that sun is reserved for your Monday. And if you keep trusting him, you'll walk right into your Tuesday. And if you got a willingness, you'll walk right on into Wednesday. And if you're thirsty, you're getting ready for Thursday. And if you're faithful, here comes Friday. Oh, and if you're satisfied with him, he gives you all day Saturday. And then here comes again. Oh, if we can just go into the house of the Lord.
That's good.
God has something he wants to do for you. Has something he wants to say to you. David said, let us go. Are there any people who woke up this morning with a go in your heart? Let us go. Nobody had to pump me. Nobody had to prime me. Nobody had to trick me. Nobody had to pay me. Nobody had to buy me. Oh, I couldn't sleep waiting on Sunday. No wonder the Bible says it's the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and let us be glad. We ought to be happy. We ought to be excited. It is our exciting thrill to be here. To be in the presence of God.
Amen.
Tell your neighbor to be in the presence of God. But then here's something else that happened. David said, let us go into the house of the Lord. Because not only do we have fellowship with God, we also have fellowship one with the other. And though that may not seem so exciting to you, let me tell you, brothers and sisters, that is an exciting thing. I was thinking about that this week. while I'm running and I'm jogging and I'm doing certain things, trying to keep it all together. Okay, let me leave that alone. And I thought, how important is the church? The church is important. It is an important entity, not because we have fellowship with God. But church, hear me right here. And I don't have much to say this morning. I'm going to let you go home early so you can get started on your Memorial Day weekend. Labor Day. Is it Labor Day? On your okay, I got it all confused. So you can get started on your Labor Day. It's not just the fellowship that we have with the Lord. It's the fellowship that we have with each other. Amen. Have you ever thought that the relationship that we have with each other, what would happen to those relationships if the church was not your center?
Wow. Say that again.
Yes, I will. Thank you very much. The relationship that we have right here, right now, and there are people that are not here that we yet, for whatever reason, and we still have relationship with them. But what would happen to those relationships if the church was not the center of our lives? You see, that's exactly what the enemy wants. He wants you to miss the fellowship, not just for the reason that you do not get to fellowship corporately with God, but you don't have the fellowship and the relationship that you have one with the other. For the most part, most of you, I only see you in church. It may be once or twice a week, and may I say, that's enough. Baby, I just need to see you one time, and I'm okay with that. I love you, but if I saw you every day, madness would become, okay, let me leave it. That's not in the message. I put that in there myself. I'm gonna scratch that out. But the relationships that we have with each other are so important. And the church is the center of those relationships. Can you imagine what would happen if this church did not exist? Most of us probably wouldn't see or communicate or talk with each other for weeks, months, perhaps years, or worse than that, not even at all. That's right. And most of us that are in this room right now, we are here, we are gathered, we are together, we are touching, we are loving, we're embracing, we are supporting each other because the church has been the center meeting place of our lives. Amen. And so there's great joy that comes, that should come when we talk about let us go into the house of the Lord, because not only do we get to fellowship with our God, our Father of the earth, of the universe, but we get to fellowship and see and love and embrace and know each other. Amen. That's good. Now, I don't know how important that is to you. But let me say this. It is profoundly important to me. Amen. I love seeing you. I love worshiping with you. I love teaching and talking about Christ with you. I love seeing Christ being formed in your heart. I love to see your life take changes. I love to see you come through situations and go through situations as Christ brings us through those situations, because it's all encouraging to us all, encouraging to me. It's encouraging to know that Christ is still living and that he's Lord in your lives. I don't know how you feel about it, but I love the worship of God's people. Will you clap your hands and give God some praise for the person that is seated next to you? Will you clap again for the person that's on the other side? Will you clap your hands that we are family? Come on, clap your hands that we're family. Will you clap your hand that love is in this place and unity is in this? Will you clap your hand that unity lives in this house? Will you clap your hands to that? Will you clap your hands that God is in this place? And it is a wonderful place to be. And so in the words of David, I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. Get this right here. I'm almost done with this thing. I'm almost done with it. He said, let us go into the house. Isn't that wonderful? We get to come into the house. And when we come into the house, the Lord comes into us. Mm-hmm. So when we come here, he takes up residence on the inside of us. So that his abode in us, his being with us, his fellowship with us, is not some mystical thing that's just in the air and we breathe him. But no, when we leave this place, we don't leave absent from the God for whom we have worshiped. Amen. But when we leave this place, God gets inside of me. He said, come into my house. And when you come into my house, I'm going to come inside your house. And I'm going to leave and live with you. You may have come here this morning absent of Christ, but if you're here to worship him, you have opportunity not only to come into the house, but Christ will come inside of you. So that when you leave the worship, you don't leave empty-handed. You leave with the Lord. You leave with God. You leave with the Savior in your life. And let me tell you, when you leave with Christ in your heart, in your life, wherever you go, wherever you take him, he's there with you. That's why David again can say, though I walk through the valleys of the shadows of death, I won't fear because the Lord is with me. He's on the inside of me. Though I walk through dangerous and treacherous places, I'm going to tell you, danger is everywhere. Danger is all over in every place. Wherever you go, you can't escape it. But it's good to know that God is with you no matter what happens, no matter what circumstances you find yourself in, no matter what situation you find yourselves in. When you come into the house of God, God comes into your house. He leaves with you and he is with you no matter where you go. I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house. I'm going to say this and I'm just about done. I've got some other things I can say, but ain't no sense in me going through all that. I know you want to get on with your Memorial Day. Labor Day. I know. I got you. Keep it straight. See, I said that to see if you were with me. Get this. Let them come on in. I'm almost done. Get this. Let us go into the house of the Lord. So I don't ever want you to forget that the place we stand and where we are is so important because it's the Lord's house. Amen. Now I know you look around this place and you see other buildings that are erected and look the same or maybe more beautiful than this, but it's the Lord's house. Yeah. And it's not about the grandeur or the beauty of it that makes it his house. What makes it his house is that we have dedicated it to him for our worship. That's why, brothers and sisters, you ought to have the utmost care and the utmost respect when you come in this place, because you're in the Lord's house. I know sometimes you get on me and I'm going to get ready to say some things you're probably not going to like. You don't like me saying that because you think it's me. You think it's me. And sometimes you are right. You are more right than you are wrong. Sometimes it is me. And I was running the other day, and the Lord spoke a word to me. He said, you're going to have to learn the difference between you and me. You got to learn the difference between what is personal and what is pastor and what is for the people. And the Lord just kept telling me, and I said, God, why are you telling me? Because I'm getting ready to give you some stuff I want you to tell the people, but I don't want you to put you in it.
All right, now, come on.
It's the Lord's house.
Yeah.
And every one of us must have a regard for the Lord's house. I shouldn't be the only one telling your children do this or don't do that, or telling you don't do this and don't do that. No, you should be on that same level, because all of us are cognitive of one fact that David gives us today. This is the Lord's house. Let us go into the house of the Lord. It would be quite different if he says, let us go into the house of the White House. Or let us go into your house. Or let's go over to the Coleman's house. Yeah, you might come over to my house and act a little different. Yeah, I do too at my house. But when we come to the Lord's house, there's a reverence. There's a respect. There's an order. There's a tone. There's a tenor. There's an oar that comes from all of us that automatically regulates who we are as individuals of persons, because we all realized we have come into the house of the Lord. There are a whole lot of things you may say in your car, but you can't say when you get in here. There are a lot of things you can say in your house and on the street and on your job and in certain places, and things that you can do. But when you come here, those things are void. Those things are not accepted. Those things are unwanted, because we're in the Lord's house. And let me tell you something. When we talk about the Lord's house, wherever the Lord is, there is holiness there. And so we respect what we have, and we respect where we are, because it's not just the fact that it's the Lord's house, but it is a house of holiness. It belongs to God. Can I tell you what belongs to God? The wall belongs to God.
Come on.
The carpet belongs to God.
Yes.
The seat you're sitting on belongs to God. The roof, the food you eat is better than the food. I know it says orange juice, but this orange juice is not like the orange juice you got in your refrigerator at home, because this orange juice is in the house of the Lord. Yeah, you say you're stretching it, really. Yeah, I know I'm stretching it a little bit. I'm just trying to raise your consciousness that we are in the house of God. You can touch something in here and it will change your life. You can eat something in here. You can drink something in here. I declare and I decree that the water in that fountain is not like water in any other fountain. Why? Because we are in the Lord.
Come on, Pastor.
You go out there and drink that water, and cancer will dry up from the root, because you drunk from the house of the Lord. This is not like any other place. This is the house of the Lord. And David said, I was glad. I'm thrilled. I'm excited. All the joy that comes from being in the house of God. That's why Hebrews said in Hebrews chapter 10, verse 27, forsake not the assembling of ourselves together in the manner that some is. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because that's just a ploy and a trick of the devil to keep you from being blessed and receiving what God has for you in his house. Don't do that. You see, it's so easy to come up. That's why it's a matter of It's a matter of making a decision in your life and making a commitment in your life. And no matter what, you stick to your decision and you stick to your decisions and you stick to your commitment to it, and nothing wavers you from it. Because it's the enemy's ploy to try to get you off course and get you away from that. Because he knows the blessings that are in store for you when you come to the house of God. Can I ask just a few questions? Have you ever come one way? Have you ever come a little down? Have you ever come a little downhearted? Have you ever come with a broken heart? Have you ever come with a little trouble on you, and you worshiped and you threw your hands up and you did your little dance, or you sung a song, or you heard a word, or someone said, "That's a nice suit you got on there, Brother Clifford," or "That's a nice pair of shoes you got on there, Pastor Coleman." Said something encouraging to you, and it lifted your whole day. And everything that you came in on, you left out without it, because Jesus said, "Cast all your cares upon me, because I care. I love you, man." And so we have an opportunity that when we come, we don't leave the same way we come. That's why Hebrews encourages, come to worship. And the enemy does everything that he can to try to keep you away from the worship. Listen. You don't have to stay up all night trying to think of an excuse and reason not to come. Excuses come a dime a dozen. You can just flip one right off the top of your head right now. If I asked you right now, throw me out an excuse, you flip me out three. I just asked for one, but you flip me three. That's how quick they come. But see, you don't need that. You don't need to look for reasons and excuses not to come. You need to think about all the reasons why you should come. And I'm telling you, when you start thinking of the goodness of the Lord and all that he has done for you, it will encourage your heart. You can be like some of the people in Texas. Your home can be flooded out and you've lost everything. But come Sunday, I got to find somewhere to worship. I know it's hard times and difficult times, but hard times and difficult times don't last always. I got to worship the Lord. And I'm going to tell you, when you're in your most difficult moment, when you're in your darkest moment, just as soon as you can get into the presence of God, your darkness will flee. Your troubles will be over. They may not all go away, but I'm telling you, God will change your attitude about the stuff you got to go back home and face if you just get into the presence of God and worship him. Commit yourself to him. Commit your ways to him. I was thinking about that passage of scripture. Let me see if I can get over to it. Yeah, here it is right here. I know you thought I didn't know where I was going, but I got it. It just filled my eyes. It just fell up. And David said these words, and I'm just about done with it. I'm going to let you go. I keep telling you I'm going to let you go, but I can't let it go. It's just all over me this morning. David said in the 37th Psalm, he says, "Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb. Trust in the Lord." That's what I come to tell you this morning. Learning how to trust in the Lord. "So shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily shalt thou be fed. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of your heart. Commit your ways unto him. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. And he shall bring forth thy righteousness as the light, and thy judgment as the noonday. Rest in the Lord. Wait patiently on him. Fret not thyself because of him that prospereth in his way, because of the man that bringeth wickedness devices to pass. Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil." You see, when we come into the house of God, God sets a path for us. That is nothing but blessings to come. So here's what I got to say, and I'm done. Worship should be your exciting thrill. Nothing happens in the week. Nothing happens in the week. Nothing happens in life that can trump worship.
That's good. Amen.
Because it's in the worship
Yeah.
that Christ is being formed in your life.
Amen.
Will you give the Lord a hand of praise? Come on, let's praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Come on, bless the name of the Lord.
Thank you, Jesus.
I've said enough.